Welcome to another edition of App of the Week. Today I'm doing an app by request. Someone asked me to do this one, so I'd be happy to oblige. We're going to talk about the app in the Chrome web store called Storybird. Now, Storybird, is an app that allows you to let students read and create stories directly through this application. And the great thing about it is the whole philosophy behind it is allowing students to be engaged with reading and writing through pictures. And they use these images to kind of facilitate students enjoying the reading and writing process. And it's a very creative way of going about getting students involved in this. So let me just show you a few basics and tell you about how you can use this. As a teacher, you can create a class in here. You can do stuff in here. You'll see in here that there's a variety of different options in here. You'll see my use section where I can find things on here. It does have a social component where I can see things that I've started creating here, a couple of stories I've started. You can follow people in here. If there's authors in here whose stories that you really like, you can follow them. You can even add books that you find to your bookshelf. I'm going to show you all of those things as you go through. I'm going to click on my studio here where you can add classes. I just made up a class where you can add students to your course. You can have them enter that passcode to get into the course, or you can manually enter those students by name, but just by clicking the add or invite. I can just type their names and their passwords in there to do that, or I can give them this class access code, which is probably the easiest thing to do. But you have that option there for allowing your students to access your class. So if I wanted my students to be able to read a story within Storybird, I'm going to click this read menu option here. And this will allow me to do some searches, allow my students to do some searches for stories that they want to read. They have stories, they have poetry, they have blogs. So they have several different options. And the other great thing is if you go down a little bit more, you'll see you have even more options in terms of what kind of stories you want to read. You can do some basic exploring. They have categories here. They have formats, whether it be a long form or maybe a picture book. They also have it done by ages, or you can search by tags. So there's a lot of different ways where you can find stories that are meaningful to you. So if I just picked a story, so if I just did one related to humor, that's going to pull up all the stories that are in this humor tag or in this category. And now I can go through here, I can click on the story, and now my students can begin reading this story. I can click and follow this artist or this author or the artist, and they also have comments down there at the bottom too. So as my students are taking a look at it, they can just click on it and read the story as they go. They can also create their own stories. Developing their own stories is very easy. For students to create their own stories, they're just going to go over here and click create. And now it's going to give us some options on how we can start our stories. And we're going to start by selecting some artwork. So we have some different artwork options here where we can kind of get an idea of what we want our story to be about. We can run through these and pick an option. I'm just going to pick one of these. And then it's going to give me some of these options down here. And then you'll notice down here, here's some additional artwork related to this picture that I talked about, or this picture that I chose. So I can pick one of these if I wanted to, but basically once I decide on a picture that I want to use, I can just click use this art. And then you have long form book, picture book, a poem. You can select which one you want to use. I'm just going to select picture book. And now you see a little tutorial will come up where I can drag images here. I can write my story in this little text box. So I can enter text for my story here. I have my picture here. If I wanted to change picture, I can drag other pictures in here. I can also preview picture just by clicking on it to get an idea of what that image will look like. And now as I want to add things to my story, I can hit the plus sign and add new images in there. Click on it and drag it in there and add more text here. And I can continue to do this, add as many pages as I like for my story. Whenever I want to save it, I can just click save here. That'll save what I've done, so I can always come back and work on it at another time. I also have this menu option here where I can save and close what I've done. I can publish what I've done, or I can invite a collaborator. So if I want to make this a group project, if I want to work with a partner on this, I can do that as well and invite collaborators. So this is Storyboard, and it's a great way to get our students encouraged and involved with the reading and writing process.